Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Football Kentron, the only English language podcast dedicated to Armenian football. This is Adam here with the usual suspects in Hrant and Armen. No Tito today, and no Theo. Of course, Theo's a very busy man. But we have a lot to get to today. But we will first start with some news. Starting off at home in Armenia, the Football Federation of Armenia announced the Premier League teams for next season, and we're getting a couple new teams, which include West Armenia and Sevan. There was also some interesting news to come out that Bekma, which is the military club, will likely join the first division. Bekma currently plays in the second division, and they were not allowed to be promoted, and that's because they are the military club, and their players are loaned from Armenian Premier League clubs. So naturally, there would be that sort of conflict of interest, fears of match fixing and whatnot. But one thing that the manager Kaparos made clear in his last interview that he gave is that he really feels that the players that play for Bekma, who are all between the ages of 18 to 20 and are seen as the more talented Armenian players, they should all be playing first division football for those 2 years. And this can really give Armenian development a boost, and I think it's a great idea. Another interesting point, the president of Ganzasar Kapan stated that they want to return to the top division immediately. They were originally scheduled to be back in the second division, but now they're appealing to the FFA to come back to the first division because, of course, with the war with Azerbaijan and things of that nature is what stopped Ganzasar from operating. So we're very likely to have 13 teams in the league next season, followed by Noravank and Lernain Artsakh, who currently play in the second division and will likely join in 2023, making the total number of teams in the Armenian Premier League 15, which is a fantastic improvement, and we hope it stays that way.
Yep. Love that.
That's it for the Armenian Premier League. Let's move a little bit closer south of Armenia. Well, south? Is it southwest? I'm not that good with the geography of Europe. Armen, what do you got for us?
Well, starting off our breaking news section, our first story, as you said, is in our beloved Cyprus. Challenge, if you want to give a quick Greek greeting to our Cypriot friends, or a Greek thing.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, bad. Bad fun. Bad fun. Oof. Okay, so as we all know, Hovhanesian Spertsyan has been playing in Cypriot Giants Anorthosis for like a year and a half, and now he has led his team to another Cypriot Cup final. Sadly, though, he has been subbed off with an injury on his last league game during this last weekend at 35 minutes. We still don't know how bad the injury is, but either way, Cup final is this Saturday. So let's stay tuned for that. And whether Hovo plays or not, we will be rooting for Anorthosis. Anything you guys want to add about this topic before we move on to our next story?
It will be some nice trophy listing for him.
Yeah,
I think it's very important.
Does it come with a European spot if they win?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, why not? Trophies
That's a
are
good
always
part
good.
of it. Yep.
I mean, it's European silverware for national team players. It's always welcome, and yeah, that's it for Cyprus. That's it for Hovo. Stay tuned on Saturday. Remember, Cypriot Cup final. Go Anorthosis. Now on to Russia. On to Adam's favorite wonder kid, Arsen Zakharyan, 17-year-old midfielder, playmaker. He has made the 30-man squad to represent Russian senior national team at age 17 for the Euros. This is huge, guys. I mean, if he plays more than 3 matches, including friendlies and stuff, he will not be eligible to play for Armenia anymore. But I mean, we have been discussing this all throughout the week in the last couple months. I believe personally, that Arsen wouldn't have joined our national team because Russia are going all in for him. We talked about how Arshavin himself praised him and said he would be even better than him. What do you think about Arsen?
For me, I think obviously I'm not going to pretend like it's not a big loss, but I think it's only a loss if it was an option in the first place, and I don't think Armenia was ever on the table for him. We know the Football Federation is very likely approached him, and he quickly made his way into the under-21 side, and now he's getting a national team call-up for the senior squad. And despite the fact that a lot of the analysts that I've read so far, since this news has come out, they don't think he's going to make it past the final cut, which will see the 30-man squad go down to 24. But I still see him making the team. I see him playing. I never thought he would, be part of Armenia. It was more wishful thinking, but I'd rather us focus on, the other future talent stars we have.
The one that we did snatch from the Russians, right? the one that we're gonna be talking about today. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yeah, I gotta agree. Shaghoyan was never on the table, and we'll see. I mean, they will definitely play him soon. Now, on to another interesting European Armenian story. Coach Michel Derzakarian. Sorry, not Shaghoyan. Michel Derzakarian. Jesus, the Zakarians are all over today. He is Montpellier coach, but not anymore. He was offered a contract renewal by the Ligue 1 side. My pronunciation is spot on today. But he refused. Apparently, Michel wants to play European competitions, whether it's UEFA Champions League or Europa League. It's the same to him, even if he doesn't play with a French club. So, since he is a French speaker, I believe that he can, if not in Ligue 1, which is a high probability that he will not stay in France, he could go to Belgium or Switzerland, maybe a Basel, maybe Zurich, maybe in Belgium. There are plenty of class teams. What do you guys think about Coach Michel's future?
Well, having Montpellier in his CV is already big with the final standings. If, let's say, they go a little bit above 8th, I'm not sure how the league table looks currently, but if they go above 8th, it's still massive to have on his CV. So he can go anywhere at this point, and it's still big. Whatever European club he goes, underdog club, big club in a Western European country, it's still a lot of work, a lot of determination. I think he can do it.
Adam?
I know. I've had this opinion, and other people I know have had this opinion that he should have been Armenia's manager at some point. But I think obviously we don't have at the club level outside of Kazakhstan really like notable managers, and he's definitely one of them, if not the only one at this moment. So I think he should keep doing what he's doing. I definitely think he's more than good enough to coach in Europe, because he took Montpellier from a 15th place side to a top 8 side. So that's a good jump, and I think he's more than capable, and he has the qualities to do so. And hopefully one day he'll coach Armenia in the future.
Yeah, he's young for a coach. He's like not even 50 years old, and he's already coached Nantes. He's already coached Montpellier now 4 years. Overall, I think it's almost 8 years in Ligue 1. And he's not even 55 years old. That's a great resume, and he's trying to make a name for himself, and he will sooner or later coach the national team. But we have to jump on, speaking to Armenian national team, to some Armenian national team players that have been doing quite well in Europe. Charents, tell us about that.
We've got little short highlights of some of our Armenian player performances in Europe. Mkhitaryan he scored a goal and 2 assists for Roma in the league action, and he's the second player in Serie A to reach double digits in both goals and assists this season after Lukaku. Pretty big for a Serie A league. It's a massive league, massive efforts. That's 10 goals and 10 assists, by the way, so very decent. And Vahan in Slovenia, he got 2 assists in his... What?
Slovakia.
Oh, Slovakia, damn it.
Sorry, I'm a geography nerd.
Apologies. Vahan, he got 2 assists in his last match for Žilina as well. So that's good. Another good point. And we can move on to some of our transfer thoughts, what we think, because we've got a lot of players ready to move.
Yeah,
This is gonna be juicy.
Speaking of Mkhitaryan and Vahan, they're 2 players that we are expecting to move this summer, and there's a lot of players that we got to get through. First of all, Mkhitaryan, we know that his beloved Jose Mourinho is going to be the next manager of AS Roma, and that is his cue to exit. He's very likely to get out of there. As of right now, we know that Juventus are after his signature, and we've also heard offers from Zenit St. Petersburg, who are apparently throwing obscene money at him. But I know that he's previously said in interviews that he has no desire to go play in Russia, and
to be honest,
I second that.
Let's be real. When was Zenit not into Haeno?
Yeah, they've always been. All the Russian clubs have been. Because he's 32 now. If he was 23, it would be a different story. Next up, Sargis Adamyan. He's been getting a little bit more minutes lately for Hoffenheim, but definitely still not enough. And he said in a recent interview that he did with Edgar Manouchian that he said either I go or the manager goes. So
wow,
beautiful.
He's definitely, in my opinion, definitely leaving. Me being an avid Bundesliga watcher, I could tell you that there are several clubs that could use a very talented striker like him. And believe me, clubs very much know his worth. But clearly Hoffenheim's manager, Sebastian Hoeneß, doesn't. Next up is Tigran Barseghian, who said in an interview that there's a 99% likelihood that he's going to be leaving this summer. And his teammate, Varuzhan Hovhanesian, who will play in Astana together, has also been scouted. Armen, you had mentioned some clubs in our group chat that had an interest in Hovhanesian. Who were they? Can you name a couple?
Well, rumors circulate mostly around La Liga clubs and other UEFA top 5 leagues teams. We don't know which ones are interested in him currently in present tense, but we do know for a fact once that for different reasons Vato didn't end up going to those places, that in Germany, Cologne, where there's actually a pretty huge Armenian community, and in Italy, Hellas Verona, and if I'm not mistaken, Fiorentina at some point early in his career, though, were really interested in him. So that's the reason why I believe that if it's not La Liga, it's going to be either Italy or Germany for Vato. And seeing Tico Barseghian is also apparently close to going to Bundesliga, I believe Vato could too.
I believe he's definitely more than good enough, and he still has 3-4 years of his prime left. So
Vato?
Hopefully, Vato.
No, he
easily
has more, bro.
I know he's a center. You know what? Center backs decline a lot faster than other players. But anyway,
I don't think so, especially considering how he plays.
Yeah,
I think he's got like 5 years of his peak.
I don't know. We'll see. I think because of how he plays, he doesn't. It's a lot of wear and tear on his body. But anyway, let's another player, Eduard Spertsyan, has confirmed, although through some shaky sources on a Russian social media website called VK, that he will not.
No, but he's leaving.
He's leaving Krasnodar, and we have no clue where he's going to end up. But luckily, my oracle prediction from a few months ago came true, where I said that if he comes off the bench and scores against Iceland or Romania, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him, and that's exactly what he did.
Unbelievable.
Easily.
And I think he's going to go far. So he's a little bit of a sleeper right now because we don't have any clue of where he can end up. But I can tell you right now, very likely it's going to be in a top 5 league. Next, speaking of top 5 leagues, Zhirayr Shaghoyan. We're going to get into him a little bit deeper, but in terms of transfers, he's heavily linked with Sevilla right now. So a lot of top 5 leagues suddenly, we're suddenly being linked to all these top 5 leagues. And to round it off, we have a few other potential transfer candidates, Bryasko Balakyan, Vahan Bichakyan, Miranyan, and Kamo Hovhanesian, who also said recently in an interview that he is looking elsewhere. So look out for those names. All these people are probably going to be on the move this summer, and it's going to be a lot to keep track of. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is going to be the Armenian Cup final. We have Alashkert and Ararat Yerevan will be clashing this Saturday, May 15th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Same day as Anorthosi and Olympiacos Nicosia. Yep.
Yeah, so that is going to be a really big game, not only because these are two of the teams that are currently competing for the top spot in the Armenian Premier League, but it's also the first silverware of the season. So if you can, it's going to be live streamed on YouTube. Highly encourage you guys to watch that match. And last but not least, Armenia has a couple of upcoming friendlies on June 1st against Croatia and June 5th against Sweden, which is not that far from now.
Thank God. Less than a month.
Less than a month, and thankfully time flew by a little quickly. And we will be doing a squad review, a preview, and wrap up for those matches in the upcoming episode. So stay tuned for that. Okay, well that wraps it up for the news. And we are going into our main topic today, which is Future Stars of Armenian Football, Part 2. We loved doing Part 1. We really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed picking and choosing those players that we really feel are going to make it far in their careers. And we feel very confident with this second set. So let's start it off. All right. Candidate number 1 is Zhirayr Shaghoyan, the 20-year-old left winger from Ararat, Armenia, who is currently on loan at Bekma. He was an Armenia under-21 starter at the age of 19. He currently has 27 goals and 11 assists in all competition with Bekma. He has an extremely good first touch. His awareness on the pitch is Henrik level good. He's already gaining international notoriety at this point. And he even had an insane Pushkas Award level goal from the halfway line yesterday. He's played for Armenia under 15 all the way to Armenia under 21, and he's had 22 goals in 56 matches for the youth national team. He made his senior national team debut versus Iceland, and he came off the bench at halftime against Romania, and he played really well, especially when he was shifted over to the left wing. And as we mentioned in the first section, he's currently being linked with Sevilla in La Liga, which is a huge, huge team. Let's start with you, Chadens. What are your thoughts on Shaghoyan?
Well, since he's linked with Sevilla a lot, I think Ararat Armenia should ask for really good money. But they have to sort out with the loan and these kind of things, the contracts, etc. But again, his value should be going up. The stats are insane if we compare to many other players. It's what other teams in big leagues would really love to see with his performances.
I think I agree completely because it's this guy's a freaking YouTube highlight reel every single time he gets onto the pitch. Armen, how would you feel about Shaghoyan going to Sevilla?
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I mean, Sevilla is a great club, too great maybe, and Shaghoyan is amazing, insane level of amazing, and has insane potential, and has, for an Armenian player, an insane personality and mentality. We know all those things, But one thing we still don't know about and are pretty in the dark about is about his environment. Who manages this kid? This kid needs to be pampered. This kid needs to be managed carefully. And I don't know if a move to Sevilla would be advisable right now. Maybe a lower table side, even if he is bought actually by Sevilla and loaned out. Because let's be real, guys. If Shaghoyan goes to Sevilla, being an Armenian player from the Armenian second division at 19 years old, he's a kid. He's straight out of Yerevan, like straight out of Compton. Instead of that, straight out of Yerevan, goes all the way to Sevilla, to one of the Spanish powerhouses. He's not going to play. Let's be real. He has to go, maybe a Levante, maybe a Leganés. Considering much like Sevilla, those teams are Caparrós teams. Levante and Leganés are great options, even Mallorca. He got plenty of options. I don't know if Sevilla would be the best move for him, but he is gonna do great. He is an insane talent. We have seen this week with what a goal he scored. Can we talk about that goal for a minute?
Yeah, we can. He received the ball like a little past the halfway line, and he just looked up, saw the goalkeeper was off his line, and it was an absolute rocket of a shot. There was no it wasn't like a loop or anything. It was a missile, and it went into the top corner, and goalkeeper couldn't do anything about it. And to your point of saying, oh, he's a little bit too young, a little bit too inexperienced, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think he can break through in Sevilla. And I think there has to be like a break in that mentality that just because the person's Armenian, just because they come from the Armenian league,
not just that,
doesn't mean well, okay, let me finish. I just think that it comes down to the individual player, and it comes down to their management. Edgar Manvelyan said very recently in an interview that he said it's all about you, the people that you have working around you. And you know what? If he's smart, he's going to have the right people representing him. And I think at this point, I was looking up his management. His management is their name is Football Club and Partners Corporation, and they're only two people. It's him and another Bekma player. So
you want to know?
My point is, I think the federation's taken a lot more interest in him. I think this move is brokered by Caparrós. This move is brokered by the FFA. I'm not opposed to loaning him out to another La Liga club. I think that is fantastic because no matter what, this kid's playing in La Liga. That's what we want to see.
But that's the point. He has to play.
I
agree.
I think the best option would be like he transfers to Sevilla and just automatically gets loaned out to Arad Armenia.
Exactly. No,
I think it's the best option.
Not Arad Armenia. No, maybe a lower La Liga club, maybe a Portuguese club. Loaned out. Yes,
it has to be another Western European club, first division Western European club, not back to Armenia. That's a step backwards.
But he has to play though. You cannot assure that he will play. Other places.
For a lower division La Liga club, I think he's more than good enough to play, and I think people know that.
He could play, but then Sevilla have to be looking for another team to make sure that it fits the system and it fits back to Sevilla afterwards in the long run. I don't know, that's just too complicated, I guess, at this point.
That's what managers are for. And you guys want to know good management. You guys want to know good agents. We don't have to look much further. Let's go back to Future Stars episode 1 in Vahan Bechakchan. The kid and his dad, Coach Varuzhan Bechakchan, both several times repeatedly expressed the importance of having a good agent for Vahan and refusing teams like Fiorentina. Can you imagine that? He refused Fiorentina that offered him a contract to go to Žilina that has a better youth system that can form players in every aspect. That's the path Zhirayr should take. And I think Caparrós, as you said, Aram, I think Caparrós is taking cards on the matter, and is one of the advisors in the issue. I honestly think he is going to make the right move. Maybe not too big, but hey, agents are more important than we think. Speaking of players, young national team players that made their debut, we have to talk about Eduard Spertsyan. Charents, what do you know about this guy, huh?
I think many people know about this guy because he's
Okay.
shown in the last game that we watched for Armenia.
Let me
Our
ask you a
center
question.
midfielder, go on.
Let me ask you a question. Is Eduard Spertsyan all that we've talked about?
Possibly, we have an episode just specifically for him. So yeah, he's our goal scoring midfielder. Also a good dribbler, an amazing dribbler actually, which links to his goal for Romania, the 40-meter dribble he did from the halfway line, and he just looked up and shot from the edge of the box and scored, plus won the penalty that became the winner. He currently plays for Krasnodar second team. He made his Champions League debut in the group stage versus Chelsea a couple of months ago in the group stages. And his contract is running out in June. It's confirmed that he's going to leave Krasnodar, but it's like a gold in a big city. It's just many people are passing by it, and we just don't know who will pick it up. So at this point, he can go anywhere. And what do you guys think? Where can he go? Like, where does he fit, in your opinion?
Everywhere.
No, not that general.
Well, okay. Here's what I think. He's a box-to-box central midfielder. He's not a defensive midfielder by any stretch. He's a lot more creative. He can play at cam. I think for his play style, he will definitely flourish in Spain, in Italy. Not so much, I don't think, in France, but I think in those two countries. Now the question becomes of who has their eyes on this kid, because we've heard literally nothing, but it's impossible that he's not on some club's radar, right? Like I can't be going crazy, right, Armin? Like he has to be on someone's radar at this point.
You can't be going crazy. Okay, that's an interesting question because you mentioned after his performance against Romania that it was not just us going crazy and hyping him up. He did, answering my own question, end up being all that, and all that goes in underlined. He is all that, and no, we are definitely not going crazy with him. And bear in mind, many times, moves like that are hyped too much, that are rumors that are heavily linked. Like Balekyan with Milan 1 year ago or something like that, didn't end up happening, right? And everyone was talking about how Balekyan would go and play with Zlatan and stuff. Didn't end up happening. Sometimes the biggest moves happen without anyone finding out about those until they do happen.
Yeah, sometimes it's just very like the sources are very
quiet.
You can't find them. You just can't find the sources.
They're very secretive and hermetic about those issues.
I'll give two teams as wild cards, like
and rightfully
like the biggest wild cards.
Okay, which ones?
Lyon and Valencia.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, biggest wild cards. I think it's the biggest wild card.
Let's. You know what? I hope, because I don't think he's playing in Russia. I think he's going to get out of Russia. At his age, he's 20 years old. He's made like 38 appearances in all competitions so far this season. He has 15 goals and 4 assists, including 5 appearances for the senior team in the Russian Premier League and 2 Champions League appearances, totaling to around 39 minutes.
Ironic. one thing though. Ironically,
Sure.
all those senior first team appearances you're talking about, beautiful,
Hmm.
beautiful, but all of them were coincidentally and suspiciously before he made his national team debut for Armenia. Hmm,
Yeah,
interesting.
once the intent was put out there that he's going to be playing for Armenia, that's when he got frozen out of the
Yeah.
Krasnodar setup. But you know what? He's still playing with the two team. He's still in every starting lineup. He's valued at almost $1 million on transfer market. He's definitely going to be picked up. But
Well, there's a
who is,
chance
we don't know.
another team as well.
Go.
I just keep coming up with teams.
Which one?
Rangers.
Rangers?
I'll tell
Oh,
you why.
Uh,
I'll
you know
tell you
what?
why.
I was thinking the
Like,
weather, but you know what? Here we
no,
go.
no. Well, Russia has a bad weather, but
Yeah.
like, I thought of it as a link. So Rangers would be staff members of Rangers would be watching Haji, the game against
Yeah.
Romania,
Okay.
when we go there, and
Okay.
then he will be playing, hopefully, and he gets spotted by Rangers, who Haji plays for. Um, Valencia is more of a creative kind of team. He has European experience. Valencia would need that. And then
Yeah.
Lyon develops players, so especially center midfielders like Awar.
Mm-hmm.
They've
Who
got
they're going to
several.
get rid
Like,
of? Who's supposedly
yeah,
transferred? So
because he's getting a name for himself.
yeah.
They can sell for really high prices. So
Got it.
I don't know.
I think I know exactly the reason why you want him to move to Rangers.
No, look,
Steven
he's a
Gerrard.
good coach, yeah. Gerard is a good coach. He'll learn a lot from there.
You're
But
so obvious.
no, but Haji, I thought of Haji though. Haji's an energetic player.
That's
But
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
Steven Gerrard mentorship would be really nice.
well, that's
Really,
a good
You
point
really
for
nice.
Tottenham because he
you
scored
can
against
take
Romania.
Yeah,
So
that too.
yeah, and they were
bro.
watching,
You
very likely
you
watching.
can't, Shannon. You can't take that Liverpool jersey off for 1 minute, huh?
I'm wearing it actually right now.
All right,
You're
all right.
capable of that.
Let's pull it back. Let's pull it back. Let's bring it back to defense. Armen, not a lot of defenders that are exciting and up and coming, but suddenly we have a few names being thrown out there.
Yes, we have a real tough guy in Avetisyan. I love how this kid plays. 19-year-old defensive player overall. He started off as a defensive midfielder, but he has been lately playing as a center back, both for his club Kishvarda in Hungary and surprise, surprise, for the Armenian under-21 national team. We're gonna be talking about him a little. Abov was actually born in Donetsk, Ukraine. He's friends with Artur Miranyan from Shakhtar school system in Donetsk, where they met and became close friends. They're still in touch, and we're going to be talking about that influence on Abov's career in a little bit. But Abov moved to Hungary as a kid. That's when he started to play top flight football for Kishvarda. He's actually last year, and when he was 18, he became a member of senior squad. He currently he trains with the senior squad and covers for their center backs when there are injuries, mostly benched and substitutes and stuff. So he doesn't get to play a lot in the Hungarian First League, but he is the current captain of the Kishvarda second squad. And yeah, as I said, this kid is a quality center back, almost 2 meters tall, almost at age 19. That's something that we have really been lacking, other than Vato Haroyan, Çalışır, Artur Kartasyan, that is slowly getting back to action in the Armenian Premier League. We need Kartasyan to be back in full speed. But meanwhile, Avetisyan, our boy here, has made his national team debut for the under-21 during the last window, and I think he adapted quite well to the system. Anything you guys want to add about him? Because I'm very excited about this guy.
Look, we know you because you wouldn't shut up about him, so we know you're really
I'm all
excited.
about defense, baby. Defense wins championships.
And I agree, defense does win championships, and I think we are definitely very short on options. And Shaghoyan and Chalisier are not getting any younger. And during, I think these upcoming friendlies in June would be a very good time to get Avetisyan in and playing a few minutes. I'm not saying start him. I'm saying give him 10 minutes, give him 5 minutes. Start to get him integrated into the team because you know what? Sometimes we have to think a little bit backwards when it comes to Armenia. Traditionally, for national teams, you would look at the best players and then you pick them for the national team. But in our circumstance, the national team can be a really good springboard for your club career. Take Spertsyan, for example, stuck in the second team, came on the national team, scored a brilliant goal. Now, possibilities are looking a little limitless. Same with Shaghoyan, another great example. So hopefully Avetisyan can follow suit.
True. Yep. True. Challenge?
And the elements of, I really like the elements that he has. Being tall, physically strong, it fits the bill of the best center backs in the world. They have these kind of characteristics. It's really good to see. It's really good to see a defender, a young defender coming up. And like you guys said, we need some not replacements but covers. So because we're gonna go hopefully very far with a national team, we need squad depth. You don't. It means a lot to have squad depth. It's one of the hardest things to do at any football team.
Yeah, and I don't want this to get into Abov's head, but he does kind of remind me a little to Vato Aroyan. Maybe he comes from an entirely different system because Vato grew up in Armenia. He didn't even move from Armenia until he was 25 or something because, as I said earlier today, he even refused Serie A and Bundesliga clubs because he was very comfortable in Armenia. Very weird and stupid decision if in retrospect, but hey, who am I to question Vato? It's Vato. And Abov is from an entirely different system. He grew up in Shakhtar, and now he's about he made his debut actually in Hungary and about to become a full-time pro in Hungary. So, but all things considered, he reminds me of him. But he's not the only center back we're gonna be talking about, huh, Adam?
Yeah, we have a potential future center back partnership here with Erik Simonyan, the 17-year-old central defender who plays for Urartu in the Armenian Premier League. He is an Urartu Academy product that recently broke into the first team and into the starting lineup, capitalizing on some injuries at the club. He is 6 foot tall, just like Avetisyan, 1.9 meters, however you Europeans call it. And he already has some pace on him. Unlike Avetisyan, he's kind of a little bit more on the scrawnier side. He's not really built. He's very skinny, but he does have some pace, which can more than make up for it. And that's something that a lot of central defenders lack in the modern game.
They can play together and think about that.
Exactly. And he has represented Armenia in the under 16, 17, and 19. He was called up for our World Cup qualifiers a couple months ago, but due to injury, he withdrew from the squad, which sucks because, as you're 17, you get really excited.
Imagine.
He would have been the youngest player in the squad by far.
17.
Imagine. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, Shaghoyan was the youngest player in the squad at 20, and Erik Simonyan's 3 years younger than Shaghoyan. So
the poor thing.
Yeah, and fortunately, though, he will likely be part of the squad for the June friendlies and make his senior national team debut. I think the injuries were a minor setback, but Kaparo says, I feel definitely made his mind up and feels that this is someone he wants to try out. And a fun fact, he's currently being coached by Robert Azumanyan, who was one of Armenia's best central defenders back in the day during that Euros run. So, it could be passing down some knowledge.
I like that. Yeah, it's that mentorship and guidance for him from a former well-known quality center back.
Yes, who had a good club career as well, decent club career. So we'll take it. It could be
any day, yeah.
So unlike the last set that we had, we actually have a couple defenders this time. That's because Simonyan has come up on everyone's radar because he very recently broke into the first team at Urartu, and Avetisyan, of course, has been someone that there have been discussions about, but there was never anything really concrete until he very recently again made his debut for the Armenian Under-21 national team. So hopefully there are some good defensive products with these two and a future center back partnership. But let's move a little bit more up top now. Armen?
Yeah, we have been talking about the importance of agents, and we're going to talk now about a player that is like he's already living his pro life. He's got the agents, he's got the sponsorships, he's got the fans. Gor Manvelyan, 19-year-old striker from Nantes in French Ligue 1. He signed his first pro contract with the team in July. And no, that's not right. He signed it last month in April after having trained with the Nantes for like a season with their first team. He didn't yet make it through the starting lineup. He didn't make his debut, but hey, he soon might, because last season with the under 19 Ligue 1, he was not just top goal scorer, he was also league MVP. He's officially sponsored and outfitted by Nike, and that's basically all you need to know about him. Nantes already rates him really high, like seriously high. They threw like a whole shebang, a whole thing when he signed his first pro contract last month, and they're making Gor their youth trademark. Gor actually was born in Artsakh in Stepanakert, so that's pretty sensitive and pretty important and pretty significant in my opinion that he's making it through as a pro just now after all that we've been through. And as for the future, what do you guys see for the future of Gor?
I see a very bright future.
Oh, we got the Oracle, huh?
Yeah, the Oracle. I think that, you know what, he's a young Armenian football player who is made his way through the youth system in France. What could possibly go wrong, right? We haven't seen that story before.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Alternatively, though, I do think this is very good because unlike thou who shall not be named, he has a very clear path to the first team. I think he's definitely going to be playing nothing but first team football, very likely next season. I'm very excited, and I really hope he gets called up for the June friendlies because I want to see him in action.
Yeah, and the thing is, with strikers and with not a top, let's say 7 team from the top 5 leagues, when you get the opportunity and you do well, you're definitely going to get another one. Because with these young ones, it's usually this kind of pattern that they follow. And once he starts scoring, we'll just start naming him Gor Manvelyan.
Jesus, he took my place. Yeah, he took my place as the silly pun maker. Bravo. But yeah, he does have a knack for goal.
He does, and we're very much looking for someone like that because, as was previously pointed out in our last few episodes, during the 3 World Cup qualifying matches, not a single goal was scored by a striker. So clearly somewhere we're lacking. We have our current options of Karapetyan. We have Bryasko Balakyan, who definitely isn't going anywhere. Sargis Adamyan, definitely not going anywhere. Artur Miranyan, who is a very good striker, but I think his spot and Karapetyan's spot are definitely up for grabs. And if Manvelyan breaks into or gets consistent first team play in Liga, 1,000,000% he's going to be called up every single time. So
easily.
Very good news. Speaking of pun, that was a bad Spanish. That was a Spanish bread joke because we're moving to Spain. Chadens. Who's lurking in Spain right now?
Well, it's a player who we've mentioned before. His name is Varuzhan Hovhanesian, who's a 22-year-old goalkeeper from Rayo Vallecano in Spain. He's raised in San Diego, California, played for a local club team in Southern California, was scouted by La Liga side Leganes, where he went on trial and signed in 2019. He played a season with U19s. Unfortunately, got interrupted by COVID-19. He recently signed with Rayo Vallecano in Spain, where Arazosbilis actually spent a loan spell a couple of years ago. His national team prospects is that he has had talks with the FFA. He's on their radar, will likely be invited to U21 soon. And there's a small fun fact we would like to add, is that the Northern Macedonia goalkeeper, Dimitrievski, plays for Rayo, but recently his spot got taken by Luka Zidane. Yes, the son of Zinedine Zidane. Guys, what are we saying about this goalkeeper? We don't have too many young goalkeepers.
We don't, and you know what? They seem to be springing out of nowhere because not only do we have Varuzhan, but we have someone in France also, who we'll talk about later. But
yep, surprise.
One thing we're really hoping is that Varuzhan breaks into the first team. Currently, Rayo's plays in La Liga 2, right? Fight for a promotion. If they can eventually get back to La Liga, it would be even better for our guy. In terms of play time, it's going to be difficult. It always is as a goalkeeper, especially a foreign one. But you know what? If he was good enough to be scouted by Leganes from Southern California, he's definitely good enough to be starting for the B team at minimum at Rayo.
Yeah, the game is
a lot of competition though.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why it's patience with him. It's a goalkeeper. It's hard. Like he will not get the opportunities. Not only that they will be limited, but the performance will also be dependent on that 90 minutes when he gets that opportunity. He needs that sort of experience to build up, but it's going to be limited.
Exactly.
But look, at the end of the day, let's say for the next 6 years, he plays for a couple different clubs, and let's say he finally gets a first team appearance in Portuguese league. Let's just throw it out there because it's close to Spain. At 28 years old, we would have a solid goalkeeper playing in the first division somewhere in Western Europe that can play as our starting goalkeeper for 7-8 years, So it's going to be a patience game with Varuzhan for sure.
Yeah, it's a defensive role. I really encourage the defensive roles throughout the episodes. I always encourage defensive roles. This development is really important in many ways. It's really important.
I agree. Yeah. And Varuzhan is, of course, a friend of the podcast. We talk to him sometimes randomly here and there. So hi, Varuzhan, how are you?
And actually, there's even this Spanish connection because Varuzhan has been playing in Spain for a while now, and we know who our coach is. And our coach, Coach Caparros, he has been very vocal about how Tolia Ivazov has a very bright future ahead of him, and apparently Caparros is very keen on Ivazov, and he's assessing him and giving counsel to him. Well, if that replicates with Varuzhan, and I'm sure that it will, we will have two pretty young goalies that would be under very wise at counsel with Caparros.
You know what? And that's better than we thought we had a couple of years ago when Adam Harapetyan was playing every single game and we wanted to claw our eyes out.
We didn't have Yushchenko back then either. So,
Yeah, which sucked.
man,
but
how did
thank God
things
we have him.
change up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? This is why we love looking at the young ones, and we're super encouraging on playing young players. That's why when Kaparos came in, we were even more excited because we knew, you see it, Spertsyan, Shaghoyan, Bichakjan, they're getting play time. Bichakjan, of course, not during the World Cup qualifiers, but he's creating this inner competition between the youth players, and we're only going to improve and benefit from it.
Definitely. And the pass, like between the more experienced players with the inner competition with the younger players, doesn't just create a competition within the squad, it actually makes the younger ones learn from the more experienced ones, which didn't really happen back like before Caparros.
Yeah, it was very disconnected. But
Exactly.
fortunately, things are changing for the better. Now, moving on to our final future star of today's episode of set number 2.
Okay, this is a big team. Whoever is listening, this is a big team.
So we have, I don't want to upset Armen. We have Hrant, otherwise known as Grant. I'll do it. Hrant Mamedova, otherwise known as Grant Leon Mamedova. The 17-year-old midfielder who plays for FC Bayern München.
Yes.
Who is the team that I support. So for me, I'm super excited about this one. Armen, what's your disclaimer?
His name is Hrant, guys. For our listeners, you will read Grant or Grant or whatever you read. It's not. That's the Soviet passport spelling. Grant doesn't exist. It's Hrant misspelled.
Yes, and Mamedova is of course an altered last name. I believe his original surname was different and included an IAN. But again, we've had previous Armenian national team players like that too, like Zhirayr.
Yeah, I mean, we know all about Aras Osbil is from Western Armenia, Eastern Armenia. If you look at history, that's all native acculturation.
Yes.
That's how it is.
And I'm currently wearing my Bayern Munich shorts, and I'm very excited about this one. So let's get into Hrant Leon Mamedova. He is a product of the Hanover Academy, and in 2017, he transferred to the very prestigious Borussia Dortmund Academy. Yeah. After spending 1 year at the Signal Iduna Park, he transferred to the Bayern Munich Academy in 2018. And since then, in the words of Ottoman right here, he activated beast mode. He's currently 17 years old. He's playing for the Bayern under-19s. We only have some statistics of him. I know that because of COVID, the under-19 season was put on hold. So he had scored 3 goals and 1 assist in 3 matches, totaling 285 minutes of play. And we know that, and we're very sure that there are other training and practice matches currently going on that we don't know about. Great news, just from, I think, 2 weeks ago, he signed a contract extension that's keeping him at Bayern for another 2 years until June 2023. He is a dual German and Armenian citizen, and he's trained at one point with the Germany under-15s, but he did not play. Now, this guy is potentially going to be very big because recently, I follow a lot of Bayern accounts, being a Bayern fan, and we had a tier list of the top Bayern Munich products coming in from the Bayern campus. Number 1 on that list was Jamal Musiala, who we all know now ended up he got his first professional contract for Bayern when he turned 18. And he is killing it right now, and he just got called. He's getting called up to the Germany national team. So 5th on that list, on that tier list, was Hrant. So he's very, very much not only a huge interest for Bayern, but also an interest for Armenia. But the question really becomes, when do Armenia approach him? How do Armenia approach him? And what does that offer look like? Armen, what do you think?
We could actually think about Hrant mirroring and replicating the experience of Yerchanik Bazaryan. That's that's a name, Yerchanik, that means happy in Armenian. Uh, so as everyone knows by now, I love defense and I love defenders, and especially Armenian defenders. Yerchanik is actually a defensive midfielder slash defender of all sorts. He grew up in Germany too. He was Hamburg youth team's captain for a long time before he was transferred out to a minnow in Germany. He is currently playing in German lower divisions like Erman Kurbashian, like Zago Adamian did until not long ago, and now just look at Zago, right? Yerchanik is also playing in the Armenian under-21 team with Avetisyan. What does this mean? If Hrant manages to get some regular playing time, even if loaned out at a minor German league, like the fourth tier division or something like that, it would help
let
him
me
a
tell
lot.
you. So where he plays right now, they play in the fourth division. He's bouncing between the third team and Bayern 2, who currently play in the fourth division. Just noting that.
See,
So
Bayern 2 would be a big thing.
But that's the thing. He already pretty much trains and plays with Bayern 2, and this contract extension that he just signed guarantees that as well. So I think with a player like him, you aim a lot higher. I think Bundesliga 2, he can easily be loaned out to comfortably at his age.
I don't know, man. I mean, what do you think as a Bayern fan? As the locker rooms, the inside of the environment. What would you say? Can you guys hear me?
Sorry, that was my bad. I thought I was unmuted.
Oh shit. It's okay.
Okay. Bayern is known for having their youth products in the first team. And there was a period of time, the period that we were kind of shit, where youth players weren't featuring in the first team. But now we're getting back into the habit of bringing in those youth players. Jamal Musiala is by far like the shining example of that. And Musiala is a year older than Hrant. So I'm not saying in a year's time he's going to be on the Bayern first team. I think Musiala is definitely a very large exception. But I do think that Bayern's model of loaning players out to lower tier Bundesliga sides or Bundesliga 2 sides for one season, maybe two at most, and then bringing them back and integrating them into the first team, I think we could see that happen with Hrant. Chorens, you know big game football just as much as Ottoman and I do, if not more, and you see things a lot differently from the perspectives of a coach. When you're talking about youth development, especially of a player we have here that is playing at such a humongous club, if you're the football federation, how do you approach this? Like how do you try to convince this kid who is Armenian? I don't know how much convincing he needs, but how do you get a player like this? What do you say to them?
Very steadily. That's what I would say, very steadily, because it's kind of like Varuzhan's case, like we just said before. But the thing is, it doesn't depend only on the player. It depends on his age in a way. I'll give you an example. It reminds me of one of our Cypriot players we have, Grigoris Kastanos, who plays for Juventus. He has been in the team. He has played a few times with the main team. He's in the U23. He's always been going out on loan and these kind of things because it's a big club, but he's still at the club. But currently he's 23 years old. The thing that reminds me him with Hrant is that it will take him some time for sure, one, and two, it's a big club. It's gonna take a lot of time to adapt It's not something that is urgent. We also have a lot of midfielders anyway. I'm not saying he's not going to get the call up. I'm saying that it's going to take a while until we see him with the Armenian shirt.
And let's be real, guys. I mean, once again, it's like his national team allegiance choice is a lot more simpler than we think. I mean, if, like, as I said, going to Yerchani Kulbazaryan, it was obvious that there's a huge difference between playing for Germany and Armenia. It's most likely the obvious choice would be Armenia because it's way tougher to make it through in the Mannschaft. The question, in my opinion, lies on how, on the what we were discussing earlier, how could Hrant make his way through the bigger leagues?
Steadily.
Steadily. Just like Chanan said, steadily. He needs to stay on the Bayern campus, get loaned out for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
And once he starts playing first team football, whether it be at Bayern or whether it be elsewhere in Germany or in Switzerland or in Belgium or in France or wherever it may be.
Yeah. Western Europe.
I think as long as the guy has his head screwed on, he'll make it. Because if you're at the Bayern Academy at 17 years old and they just offered you a 2-year contract extension and you're already playing with the under-19s, 2 years above your age, things are looking pretty good for you. But the only big question mark for us here at Football Kentron, we're obviously interested in his national team status, and we just don't know. And
yeah, it's not easy to tell now.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
I want to be able to comfortably say, yeah, he's high. I said he's going to come play for Armenia, but we don't know that. So it's going to be a wait and hope type situation.
Yeah, and as we were talking with Shaghoyan, if he ends up being the superstar of world football, hey, that's also like a good PR situation for Armenians. If he becomes the next Djorkaeff or something and wins the World Cup and then brings cameras to Armenia, that's also good.
Yeah, but it's also not Armenia 20 years ago. It's a different Armenia today. But I get what you're saying. True. It's positive attention for sure. Well, that wraps it up for our future stars set 2. Just to go over the players again. Zhirayr Shaghoyan, who currently plays for Ararat Armenia, loaned out at Bekma. Eduard Spertsyan from Krasnodar, Russia. Avetisyan for Kisvarda in Hungary. Erik Simonyan from Urartu in Armenia. Gor Manvelyan from Nantes in Ligue 1. Varuzhan Hovhanesian, goalkeeper for Rayo Vallecano in Spain. And Hrant or Grant Leon Mamedova of Bayern München. Well, boys, this was fantastic. This is an excellent set of players, and we're very excited to be sharing some of these guys with everyone out there, especially those who don't know. I'm sure some people are going to discover several new players during this episode, and of course that is part of our mission here at Football Kentron. Only one thing left, Armen. We have our Armenian song of the day, your tradition. This one's a little bit different. Armen, you want to take it?
Or should I take it? The song is called Amenain Sirdov or Amenain Sirov with all my heart. What does this song mean to you, Aram?
Well, this song is okay. It caught my interest for a couple of reasons. One, this song is by an Armenian diasporan named Martin Yorgants, who was born in Istanbul but raised in Paris. He spent most of his life in France. But the way I came across this song was extremely interesting. So this guy named Daron Sasunyan, who is an Armenian diaspora from Montebello, California, has created this compilation of original Armenian music and special mixes from 1971 to 1982, all of Armenian diaspora musicians, called Silk Road, Journey of the Armenian Diaspora. So this record is a lot of 70s music, so a lot of funk and psychedelic music, but it's Armenian. So it's exactly what you're thinking. It's that 70s funk psychedelic sound, but with Armenian lyrics and Armenian musical influence. So the song is a mix of the original song that was by Martin Yorgans, and it's so well done. I cannot stress it enough. Someone who doesn't really listen to funk and psychedelic music, this is an amazing mix of it. The whole digital album called Silk Road again can be purchased for $9. It's available on iTunes. They had limited edition vinyls pressed, but they got sold out like super quickly, and I was kind of upset because I really wanted one. But I'm probably going to try to buy it secondhand. So it's an amazing song. It's a great mix. It's a fantastic project by an Armenian diasporan who is, just like us, attempting to preserve Armenian culture. And this guy flew, I read an article, this guy literally flew all around the world to find this music. These like super obscure Armenian artists from the diaspora, from random record shops in Burj Hamud to like South America to France. He went everywhere. So yeah, that's Amenayn Serdov by Martin Yorgans. It's called the Detu Koye Fundito.
Cool. Detu Cool.
Detu Cool. I see. I can't do that.
You murdered French.
I murdered French. Well, they put the white flag up pretty easily.
Rest in peace, friend.
All right, guys. Well, thank you
Keep
for
on
joining
supporting.
me today. Keep on supporting. Please stick around and listen to this song. This has been Football Kentron. And thank you.
Check out the players.
Check out the players. Follow all them on social media. We'll try to have their social media stuff linked below. And stick around for Amenayn Serdov. All right, this has been Football Kentron. Peace.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.